she just gravitated towards me?
I do feel terrible because if Luke was sat cozy down with her like that, I would feel bad.
I like him.
Definitely something there between me and her. So if she hasn't told you, I'm telling you. Naturally, she'll pick me because I'm more of her type. You said that I've pulled her. You know what? Now that you mention it, I've noticed that anytime me and just kind of get.
Now that you mentioned it,
you're always around.
This is the appraisal.
No, but it's the fact that
no, there's no ifs and buts. She didn't tell you to come and grab her. It was just
my decision at the end of the day. She keeps saying
to me, it seems like you're a bit insecure.
Oh.
So if you're not, then just let it run. Let this run its natural course. I feel Luke and
lost for words.
Seen something about me. I'm a very kind of clear, concise.
Oh my days!
So this episode was absolutely dead, and then we have Rebecca. I don't know how she was acting, so ungrateful because somebody made her food and she does not like avocado. I'm completely over her. She's an absolutely ungrateful pelican, and she needs to just leave and evaporate from the show as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Or has she just gravitated towards me?
What? Wow. Savage. Oh, that is savage.
Hey guys, it's Murad Murali. Hope you guys are doing well today. If you haven't already, click that button for daily and consistent content. Head over to my Instagram, Murad_Murali. Buy some merch below. We have a lot to get into, not that much because there wasn't much depth when it came to the narratives of this particular episode, and for Friday night, I'm actually very disappointed. But we obviously have this particular triangle with Mike, Jess, and Luke, and Mike continuously was intercepting that particular kind of couple, relationship, whatever you want to call it, their romance, because he did not care for Luke at all.
Obviously, there's only so much you can take, you know what I mean? Like, literally, I know you're going to get to talk to her.
He's very assertive when it comes to his job as a police officer, and I feel like using those characteristics, he was very effective in his conversations with Luke, and he continuously kept shutting him down. He did not care for him. The game is the game. Now, I feel like he was being a bit disrespectful, but as I just said, the game is the game. So I genuinely felt like, he was giving us the energy, and unfortunately, when it came to Luke, he was not giving it back. His energy was very displaced, and he was struggling when it came to those intense conversations that they both had together. Mike is very assertive, and he knows what he wants, and he will go and get it. And that's exactly what he was doing. He went straight for this particular situation with Jess. He clearly wants her. He wants to couple up with her. They had that kind of initial reaction of romance at the beginning of this particular dry season. So I genuinely do feel like, these probably will couple up. He desperately wants her because Leanna's no longer here. That particular situation that just fell so quickly in a matter of days that inside he is panicking to the point where he was actually moving to Sophie when that couldn't happen for him. He went straight for Jess.
Okay. You didn't provide a jacket for her tonight, Mr. Gentleman.
Luke is irritated and upset, but because Jess likes Mike, he's going to be in trouble because these conversations that Mike and Jess are having, Jess is not shutting it down. If she's not shutting it down, there's interest. If there's interest, there's potential for a romance, there's potential for a couple, and therefore that can leave Luke vulnerable. Jess has said multiple times to Luke, you know what, I like you more than him, but she's clearly also admitted to Sophie that she doesn't like Luke as much. So I feel like she's kind of playing both sides here. I do genuinely like her because I feel like she's adopted this narrator kind of role. She's also a mediator between contestants, and she likes to bring people together. So I do like those kind of characteristics within her, but at the same time, I feel like she's struggling to choose who she wants. But the only person who isn't struggling is Mike. I feel like he played a very valuable asset when it came to this particular kind of, episode and this season in general. He is bringing that drama, he is bringing that content. Without him, I feel like this episode would have been very dry. There was not much going on, and I was kind of just tired over it, and I just felt like there wasn't much really going on. Finally, we saw Wallace. We've seen him for more than a minute, finally. He wasn't getting much airtime, but I wouldn't be surprised because his personality is actually very dead.
A couple, so obviously they're not that compatible, are they?
But apart from that, you can see that he was quite irritated and upset because he was making food for Rebecca, and she used that as a catalyst to kind of, make a big issue. If you don't like avocado, it's not that serious. Just say you don't like it and say you're grateful and move on. But clearly she didn't, and I just felt like she needs to really relax because I don't know what she was doing. And I feel like she's definitely vulnerable, and she probably will likely leave because Rebecca, and what I find funny about these situations that they admit that they don't like each other. They admit that things aren't going well, and they shut it down. Then they get texts about how people have to vote for the least compatible couples, and I know that they're all regretting the moments and the movements that they've made, because it puts them in a very vulnerable state. So this obviously means that she's definitely in trouble, and I feel like her or Wallace could be going home. I wouldn't be surprised, but one thing that I find quite stressful with this season is the quick downfall of narratives and characters. 1 minute Rebecca was everything. She was a bombshell. She was going up to people, stealing men, having this big argument with Shanice, providing us with the content that we needed, and then within less than a week, she's literally begging for airtime that she just simply does not have.
Sophie and Mike would be a 0.
Like, I really don't want to pick Sophie and Mike.
Wallace is just in the door. She's not had much chance.
What? Wow. Savage. Oh, that is savage.
So I feel like, you know, these particular storylines, they're very quick filled. There's no depth to it. There's no time to it. They're done, they're over, and then we move on to the next people. This becomes an issue because the bridge that we have built as an audience with these contestants, with these narratives, die down so quickly that we begin to lose interest.
Yeah.
Or has she just gravitated towards me? Okay, you didn't provide a jacket for her tonight, Mr. Gentleman.
And, you know, it's quite, you know, exhausting to kind of invest yourself in new storylines and new characters every other flipping day, and that's what seems to be happening. We then have Sophie. Now, I feel like Sophie's playing a very tactical game. She's also playing a game, but with Mike and Sophie, one similar thing that they both have in common is that the games that they are playing are actually very obvious. They're not scared to hide it. They just want to be in there for longer. That's exactly what they're both trying to do. I don't want Mike and Sophie to go purely from a producer audience perspective, because they bring the content, they bring the interest. We have our bridges built with them, so I want them to be maintained to see what takes place. We also have Naz and Demi, and I feel like these two just get on like a house on fire. Their personalities, everything. Demi, I feel like I get a bit of a fake vibe, but tell a lie, she's also growing on me now, and I feel like hopefully these two can stand the time, because I see them two going very far. I don't see Callum and Shauna going far. I feel like Casa Amor will break them.
Always very fun, a lot of laughter, so it is.
Sure, it's so thoughtful.
Well, I'm glad
Honestly,
you
it's warmed
enjoyed
my
it.
heart. Closer.
I mean, did you think it wouldn't?
Because Callum really isn't invested in Shauna as much as Shauna is invested in Callum. Casa Amor needs to come ASAP as far as I'm concerned, because it needs to build up something. I don't think Casa Amor this year will be as effective because we don't have many strong relationships at all. The only one is Callum and Shauna. Naz and Demi are actually very new, only a couple of days. Callum and Shauna have been there from the beginning and are still together, so they are the only relationships that are strong. But I feel like Callum will twist something and Casa Amor will cause a rupture for, you know, Shauna, which will be great for us, because as I've said in this channel, Shauna is very reactive as an individual, as a contestant. When people are reactive, they bring great TV, which boosts ratings, which help this flipping show. So I feel like from that, she also plays a very valuable asset, and we're gonna see where that plays. But Mike intercepting those conversations with Luke, he did not give a damn. At every given point that he could speak to Jess, he definitely did so, and I feel like that was absolutely hilarious, and I'm completely here for that because it was funny. I think it was disrespectful to Luke, yes, I can agree from one perspective, but from the other perspective, to keep it objective, I felt like he was giving us as an audience what we wanted. This game that they were playing, where they had to roll around and then put the food in the mouth, completely unacceptable. I'm sorry, unhygienic, I don't know what they were doing. I would have absolutely left that game, gone to the fridge, made myself some food and just relaxed. Because I just feel like these games, when a game does not add to tension, friction, drama, or, you know, adds to any depths of any good storylines, I feel like the games become essentially pointless. The game
Savage. Oh, that is savage.
Games are there to act as a catalyst for narratives. If they don't do that, they become pointless. We don't want to see people with food in their mouths exchanging it, because I just feel like it's just nasty to look at, and I don't know why they're doing it. I feel like there's a high volume of those games on this season than anything else. There's, again, not much to talk about. I feel like these narratives are quite dead, and for Friday night, this episode was actually pretty dead, and I'm just not here for it. Let me know what you couples have saved from, and what couples do you think are vulnerable and outgoing. I think perhaps Wallace or Rebecca will most likely go.
Sophie and Mike would be a 0.
Like, I really don't want to pick Sophie and Mike.
Wallace is just in the door. Chance.
Oh, this is horrible, isn't it?
That's horrible.
Are we happy, yeah?
Not really.
This particular Sunday before Casa Amor, I feel like they are most vulnerable as well, and maybe even Jess and Luke, because Jess has admitted that she doesn't even like him over Mike, so who knows. Sophie and Mike may go because they are a friendship couple, but because they provide good narratives, I don't think they will from a producer perspective. Let me know your thoughts are when it comes to this video. Please do subscribe, click that button for daily and consistent content. Do comment down below. Let's start a discussion. I'll read all your comments and buy some merch if you guys wish to. And I'll catch you guys soon for another video. Woo. Sweet done. You're like clapping. That was so funny.
What?
Who do you want to win?
Well, nice, obviously.
Nice.